Hello there beautiful humans, my name is RidersDX and welcome to a very special rendition of Late Night Riders, the one talk show that takes place in a bedroom. So I know this isn't a typical day I'll be putting out a video, but this is a very special occasion because this is basically my first ever sponsored video. I want to give a huge shout to Outright Games because they are the sponsors of this video and they provide me with a copy of Trollhunters Defenders of Arcadia for me to check out and give my thoughts on in this video. I got to sit down and play it and I have a lot of thoughts about it, and so I'm going to let you all know what this game is, what it's about, and what I personally think about it. But first of all, for those of you who are unfamiliar, which was actually me, what exactly is Trollhunters? Trollhunters falls under this franchise called Tales of Arcadia, which is a franchise that follows inhabitants of a small suburban town of Arcadia Oaks, which is secretly home to various supernatural creatures and young heroes who fight against the forces of evil that lurk in the shadows. In this game, you play as Jim Lake Jr., who becomes the first human to be a troll hunter, carrying the duty of protecting both the trolls living in Troll Market and humans living in the surface world from the Gum Guns led by Gunmar. So this is a DreamWorks animation franchise and it's actually exclusively on Netflix. And so before I got into this game, I actually was really curious about the franchise that it came from. Being someone that's covered a lot of licensed games in the past, I wanted to be familiar with the source material because I felt like I might be missing a lot of details in the game if I wasn't familiar with the source material. So I went and checked out a few episodes, and then a few episodes turned into a season, and then 3 seasons, and then a whole series. So needless to say, when I checked out the series on Netflix, I loved it. I was so in love with it. It's such a great piece of animation. Like, it's seriously amazing. Like, I cannot sing its praises enough. It has such a great mix of comedy, heartfelt moments, and complex lore. It really does have everything wrapped up in a nice little package. And gosh, without talking about a lot of details of it, because I really do not want to spoil the plot just in case you want to check it out, but just take my word for it. It's such an amazing franchise. I loved it so much, and it's definitely one of the best children's TV shows I've ever watched, like hands down. Trollhunters Defenders of Arcadia, from what I can gather, it takes place between the second and third series of the franchise, and basically you play as Jim Lake Jr. to stop Porgon, who is this trickster troll, and is apparently creating these things called time loops, which is basically these alternate versions of timelines that these characters have already experienced. Yep, this is a time travel heavy story, and so it's kind of difficult to explain just because of that. Just know that because of the premise of the story, it allows Jim to travel to previous events that he's experienced before, and that's kind of how this game is able to reference a lot of the previous episodes that have aired for the show. The show is set up in a way where it wouldn't make a lot of sense for you to go back to certain events or certain locations, because at certain points of the show, the locations are alive and well. At other points of the show, the locations are completely gone or inaccessible. And so using time travel as the basic backbone of this game allows the game to take you to lots of different episodes and give you tons of different references to the show, which I think was a really smart thing. I'm not going to spoil the plot anymore because just talking about it already spoils a lot of what happens in the show, and so I'm just going to focus purely on the gameplay because I love the show so much that I want to make sure I give you all the opportunity to check it out if you haven't. But one of the first things that definitely caught my attention with this game is its overall presentation. What I really enjoyed about this game's look is that it's basically one-to-one to the show. I think WayForward did a really good job at capturing the feel of the show. I kind of wish that the game would kind of let you zoom into the environment sometimes, because a lot of times when you're playing the game, you're so zoomed out that you can't really see the characters, you can't really see the enemies, you can't really see what's kind of going on behind. And even if there's not much out there, it would have been nice to be able to see it, because from a distance it actually looks pretty nice. It looks like there's a pretty vast world that you could explore in a lot of these levels, and I would have loved to have gotten to explore that a little bit more. My personal favorite being Troll Market. I felt like they did a really good job at designing that one, and whenever I look at it, I definitely feel like it's something that comes directly out of the show. And I played this on a Nintendo Switch and I felt like it looked good, and so the music is actually taken directly from the show, as I recognize a bunch of the tunes playing through the game. The voice acting is done by the original actors from the show, and so absolutely no complaints there. All the voice actors do a really good job here and they all live up to the characters' personalities very well. I'm really glad they were able to get the entire cast on board with this game. But of course, the main attraction that we need to talk about is the gameplay, and so if you couldn't tell by the footage you're seeing here, this game is a 2.5D side-scroller platformer. It plays perfectly fine as a perfectly competent platformer. The game does try to vary it up a bit by giving you some new moves as you progress through the game, which is definitely a good addition, and you also get to see some new enemies, and I especially love seeing the enemies because I recognize all of them from the show. So that was another great way of incorporating a lot of show's lore into the game. There's also the option of playing co-op with Claire. I didn't get a chance to test this out as I'm recording this, but seeing some of the footage of it, it looks like it runs perfectly fine. I think the game's ultimate strength lies in the way that it utilizes the franchise. Not only do you see a bunch of characters from the show appear in the game, but you also see a bunch of enemies as well, and you see environments throughout the entire show. It really does offer a lot of fan service for fans of the TV show, which is something that's really important when you're doing a licensed game, because that's the main reason that people are going to be interested in the game in the first place, is because it is based off of a very popular franchise. And so I think WayForward were very smart in making sure they got a bunch of stuff from the show, and there's a lot of references in the show too, not just the locations, but there's missions that you could take that reference specific episodes within the show, and I thought that was really cool. You know, I don't think they really had to go in that deep for this game, but they did. So I really feel like that was a very well done job on their end in terms of making sure that fans of the show would enjoy this game. I think one thing I was a little bit surprised about when I played this game was the fact that Troll Market actually acts as a bit of a hub world. I guess I'm not really too used to having 2.5D games with hub worlds. It's a little bit interesting to me. Now, it's not huge or anything like that. It's still 2.5D and there's like 3 or 4 locations to go in, but this is where you can talk to a lot of characters from the show. You get to play some different mini games here and there. I was so happy to see Sushi Go-Go be a mini game in this game. I'm sorry if that's not how you call it, but I remember the game, and if you watch the show, then you know exactly why this is so awesome. And one thing I didn't actually figure out until later in game that I kind of wish I knew earlier is that there's actually additional side quests that you can take within Troll Market. You can talk to different characters, and they might actually give you a mission, and it might require you to go to a level that you traversed previously to maybe say acquire said item or give something to another character, and you can complete the mission that way and earn rewards from that. Like I said, it's nothing too significant, and the actual game can be completed in a few hours, but for the short time I had with it, Trollhunters was a really nice way of getting to celebrate a franchise that I'd grown to love very, very quickly. I really think that if you want to enjoy this game fully, it's imperative for you to at least watch a few episodes of the show just so you can kind of understand the lore of what's going on. And then when you go ahead and play the game, not only will you get to recognize some of the things from the episodes you did watch, but you also will see some things that kind of reference future episodes. And I think that was really interesting as well, and it definitely piqued my interest for the show, which I think is a very huge point of licensed games, is to help pique interest. This is such an expansive franchise, and to see so much fan service put into such a short game is pretty awesome, and I think WayForward should be commended very well for that, because they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to connect this game so much to the franchise, but because they did that, you're definitely going to give fans of this game something to care about, and I thought that was really smart. And I know that if you're a fan of this show and if you buy and play this game, then you're going to love it. You're going to love it just because of the show. So I definitely recommend it. It's definitely a great game for kids in particular, and so yeah, I had fun overall with it, and I'm so grateful to Outright Games for giving me the chance to play it. If you want to purchase this game, you can go ahead and purchase it at GameStop, Walmart, or Amazon. I'll leave links in the description box below, along with a lot of information about Outright Games. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you a fan of Trollhunters? If so, let me know what your favorite thing about the series is in the comment section below. I'm so obsessed with this franchise. I would love to meet more people that love it and talk about it with y'all all day. And also let me know if you checked out this game and what you think about it, or if you're gonna be buying this game. Let me know why or why not, and yeah, I'd be really happy to hear your thoughts. But yeah, thank you so much everyone. This is Riders, riding out.